What is going on, moms and dads? Welcome to the Fade You podcast. This is episode 145, coming to you late Monday night, September 12th, 2022. On this episode, we talk all things NFL Week 1. We're going to review what happened this weekend, what narratives we're looking to fade going into Week 2, and we have got you guys covered with a nice recap here. Make sure you're following the Twitter at Fade You Sports. Make sure you check out the YouTube. All our podcasts are available in video format as well, except for the one that Chris got in trouble with Brett. We can't show that one, but that's okay. Also, make sure you're following the TikTok. We'll do a better job of adding to that. That is at Fade University on TikTok. But the Twitter is where you can find all the good stuff. That is at Fade U Sports. So, all right. My name is Matthew James at Matthew James 78 on Twitter, and I had a nice weekend in the Westgate SuperContest, and that will be a common theme here. My hobbled, crippled, poop-loving friend Chris Duke is here. He is at Hazmat Suit 23. Chris, take a victory lap. Sometimes when you bet poop.
Sometimes when you go on an island game with Gino starting, Gino can't get it done, right? Man, he looked pretty good. Didn't throw any picks, and they get the cover. Obviously, huge stops by Seattle. That red zone O's got to figure it out for the Denver, but they played well. They laid a dud second half, but got the money, baby.
Chris also went 4-1 in the SuperContest. Nice job there, Dad. And lastly, we got the Bucket Boy on the pod tonight. We got Neil here. He's at Big Nelly Buckets on Twitter. Neil, how was the birthday weekend, Dad?
Besides going 2-3 in the SuperContest, the birthday weekend was very nice. Got absolutely blacked on Saturday, a day after the birthday, but it was a big college football day. Wife let me have it all to myself. Took the kids out for a good portion of it.
Wow.
And Sunday was great. Clearly, Kmart, my partner in this little contest, clearly blames me. Made me come on the pod today to represent. He's hiding. He's sulking. Get over it. It's week 1. We'll be fine, Dad.
He's mad. You boycotted the Bears, Dad. You boycotted the Bears.
He went back like 3 weeks ago with that shit. Like, this was pre-even contest. He goes back. I do remember. He's like, I think I like Bears. And I was like, I think you might be overthinking things.
Yeah.
That was the like, and then end conversation. That's fine. But
Kmart's only been talking about having a bet on the Bears +7 for several weeks now. And how does it not get in the contest?
Yeah.
Oh man. No Kmart tonight. He is probably, like Chris said, snuggling with his CLV trophy for having Broncos -5. So much for that. And no Joe. Joe is on a tour of the Midwest. The dad was in Chicago yesterday, just walking around in the rain in his poncho, watching his Niners
lose
come up
because he had Bears. He's happy.
A little small, but he faded dead and got Bears full, so it's fine. And Joe will be back, hopefully, with us later this week when we look ahead to week 2. But hey, week 1, my entry SuperContest 4-1. Chris's entry SuperContest 4-1. Joe and Jared SuperContest 4-1, and Neil and Kmart 2-3. But it's fine. It's week 1. There's a long way to go. All we can do is maybe learn from some mistakes and learn some lessons and figure out how to pick these better going forward. Chris, let's start with you. Any hindsight that you wish, man, woulda, shoulda from week 1? What's the one that you kind of regret?
Yeah, the only one was I leaned towards, I guess, the road division dog when we chose our 1L was Patriots, and we were really looking because we know Colts are really down week 1 every year. I mean, for fuck's sake, they've lost to the Jags twice in a row or something as double digits. So we knew we liked Texans. They're underrated. Mills is decent, and we just left it out. So they should have won that outright. They ended up with a tie, but +7 was never in doubt. They led that. They dominated that whole game. And the Colts are going to have to figure out if Matt Ryan is going to be good for them this year. But, yeah, and that's my one. And we were looking at Bears too. And just with that rain, that defense is going to be a tight game, but it didn't make the card, so we'll get better next week.
Yeah, well, it maybe improve 80%, Dad. It's just not good. It's not good enough.
5-0, baby. We want that 5-0.
It's so elusive. Neil, any woulda, coulda, shouldas from your guys' side?
No, not real. I mean, not really. I guess, in hindsight, we probably should have just, stayed off of the Saints. It was really hard.
Yeah.
And, Kmart loved the Saints. He bet every single Saints future he possibly could. We probably should have just stuck with our guns on division dogs. So we should have stuck to our guns on division dogs and left the Saints out of that one. My favorite play was Raiders, plus the 3.5. They lose by 5, came down 2-point conversion, just didn't go our way. That's sometimes how the ball lands. But I think the should was probably just staying away from the Saints.
Yeah, let's talk about the division dogs. So home division dogs, Chris, we had 3 this week. We had Falcons, wire-to-wire cover. How had they lost that game? I don't know. You even said it when they were up 16. I was sitting next to you.
How Falcon-like it would be, of course. And what do they do? Unbelievable. I knew it. I'm just thank God. I thought if they give up this 2-point conversion and lose by 6, I swear to fuck. But they held on.
I think you would have jumped out my window and said, fuck my torn Achilles up and just end it now.
I'm going to break my other one. Yeah, fuck this. But yeah.
It didn't. But, hey, Falcons, home division dog, wire-to-wire cover. Texans, home division dog, wire-to-wire cover. Vikings, home division dog, wire-to-wire cover. Even though they closed as the fave, I mean, right. I don't know what the books could have done on that one. But I don't know how you explain it. Some way, somehow, they just find a way to cash. So, people, you got to remember this week when next year the division dogs are so strong, especially the home division dogs. They're on a crazy run right now. It's got to be like high 70% over the last few years, right? I mean, that's the moneymaker in week 1.
Yeah. I mean, we even saw, a lot of them, right? I mean, we saw even the Lions snuck in the back door as a home dog. Obviously, the Steelers went and they won outright as a road division dog, which is what we targeted. And, so there's a lot. Week 1 was all that we thought it would be.
Very strong. And overall, I think the favorites went 8-8 against the spread. So it's not like it was a huge dog week, but if you're able to just find the right ones. Let's quickly run through the other ones we gave out on the pod. I know Neil just talked about Raiders. That was Joe's favorite play. That's his only loss in the contest. I talked about Steelers. I know Kmart really liked that as well. That's a weird one because the turnovers were really, really egregious by Cincy. If Cincy just comes out of that game and plays clean, is that game even remotely close to how that played out? I don't know. It's really interesting what's happening to the Steelers week 2 line. So we'll talk about that in a second. But one, they did cover wire to wire. That one was also, that one, it goes to overtime. Just a crazy game. Chris, you talked about Seahawks. We said that's a Mr. Poop. That's a hazmat suit. No one in the world is going to touch that except the Chris Dukes of the world. And they win it outright on Monday night. And then Kmart talked about Vikings. I'm happy to admit I was wrong on that. That felt so popular and so trendy. Chris, even Dennis came in on the Vikings.
Yeah. The public, the sharps, everybody wanted the Vikings. And you and I, Matt, I remember at first when I saw the 1.5, I talked to her. I said, that's bait. They're holding out that Packers -1 on the road. But then once I heard every single sharp on it, and then even the public, I was like, oh, shit, I got to look. That's when you step back and say, oh, shit, has this got too trendy? But, there's always 1 or 2 of those every week that you're like, oh, shit, has this got too trendy? And it cashes, but there's another one that doesn't, and you're like, it's hard to pick between the 2. So that one was just a stay away for me too. But, yeah, man, Matt, can you give a shout out to the dad the one lone dad in the Survivor contest that took Seattle tonight?
Oh, my fuck, you're right.
We
Now, none of us are playing in Circus Survivor, but we got to find this guy.
Yeah,
you gotta just
we
be
gotta
like, hey,
see what kind of nuts he has.
that's incredible. That's right. So none of us are playing in Circus Survivor because fuck that, it gets 6,000 people. But anyway, they release plays that everybody's on, and there's one motherfucker on Seattle, and we even joked about it. And that's absolutely amazing. We got to find that guy.
Awesome.
We're gonna at Circa. We're gonna be like, you guys got to get us in touch with the dude that
get
from Seattle.
Twitter, get us his name, something.
Yeah, that guy needs his moment of glory. That's absolutely amazing. But okay, let's talk about maybe what we talked about. Maybe hindsight, woulda, coulda, shoulda. Like, I know for me, I took Philly. I don't know what to say. They were up 17 points going into the fourth quarter. They win by 3. There's not a lot you can do. Sometimes when you're laying points, you are exposed to late game shenanigans and garbage time, and that got us. So that's okay.
Your 1L is very disgusting.
I'll take it. Yeah, it's not like we were way off on something crazy. And let's talk about maybe what we expect going into this week. I think the thing that jumps out to me is there were going to be 4 double-digit favorites in week 2. And I don't know if it's going to be that because I'm not sure how this Broncos-Texans line is going to reopen. But you have 3 of these teams that were going to be massive home favorites in week 2, all lost and looked bad. The Rams lose to Buffalo. They were going to lay 13 to the Falcons. And we're sitting here on Monday night right now, and that one is sitting at 10.5 at the Superbook. There's an 11 at WinBet. So, yeah, 10.5, 11. The other ones were going to be obviously
Niners.
Denver. The Niners, too. I mean, Denver was going to be 10.5. That looks like I'm seeing 10s. The Niners, I don't know what that opened at or what
the
they'll
Niners
look at.
play well and the Seahawks look like shit. That's 11, 12, but now it's what, 8.5?
I think the Niners look ahead was 9.5, and I'm seeing 8.5s. I'm seeing a 9. There's a couple other ones too. Who am I missing? Who's the other big favorite? Oh, Green Bay. Green Bay look ahead was
over the Bears.
I'll have that in a second. That look ahead was 10. I think that one is the one that is still 10. Seems like people are throwing away the rain game for the Bears. Mm-hmm. So you have all these big faves in week 2 that didn't look good in week 1. And I don't know, Chris, we got to find out what do we got going on with double-digit dogs in week 2. I guess that's what you're going to want to look for.
Yeah, and you mentioned something about the teams that looked bad that were favorites on week 1 that are coming back. That could be a good thing. That delayed a dud. Obviously, that's what Vegas is thinking. They're thinking regression because if you based it off what the Niners look like and what Seahawks look like, that line would probably be closer to like 6 or 7. But they're still inflating it because they know the Niners couldn't possibly play as bad, and the Seahawks probably played better than they should have. So that's why we're seeing that Vegas, they're going to shade to the higher line always and hope they get dog money.
How do you approach it, Neil? Because on one hand, you could buy into the bounce back narrative that maybe these teams that lost, your Rams, your Packers, your Broncos, your Niners, teams that were projected to be good, you bet on them to bounce back and really show what people thought they would be. But on the other hand, are these still going to be too inflated towards the favorites early in the season? We know dogs cover weeks 1 through 3 more than the rest of the season. I think you're still muted. I don't know if we have him. All right, we'll see if we can get Neil back.
Let me can we message him?
Oh, there you go. Neil, you there?
You have to edit that out.
Yeah. Okay, we'll see if we can get Neil back. But yeah, this is going to be tough. you don't want to lay a ton of points in week 2 early in the season. On the other hand, maybe the Rams do get right and they win by 2 scores. Like,
yeah, this is why it's such a beautiful thing we love to bet on, because everyone's going to be wondering all week, did the Saints play down, which they did, right? I mean, they look like shit the first half. Then Jameis comes out looking on fire, right? Or what, did the Falcons play up or did the Saints play down? Everyone's going to think that. Did Denver play down or did Seattle play up, right? Did the Cowboys play down or did the Bucks play up? Everyone's going to say that, and that's why week 2 is great, and we say don't overreact. Let's just take everything with a grain of salt and just try to find some value and know there's going to be a little regression. Typically.
And the other thing too, Chris, is like, did Seattle just give max effort? This was Russell Wilson coming home. It's Monday Night Football. Did they just max out? And I mean, they're going to play a division opponent next week, but is that in a weird way kind of a flat spot for them?
Did the Niners max out? Probably not, right? They might have went in thinking we got this, Yeah.
And I mean, it's also fair to wonder, in terms of effort and stuff, what do we do with these teams that went like full length of overtime? What do you do with Pittsburgh this week that just went all the way to overtime on the road against a division rival? And you had that was just a beat 'em up game. Now you got TJ Watt.
How the Patriots look, by the way, Matt.
Yeah, not great. So that's a game that went deep into overtime. You had the Texans and the Colts literally tie. So you played 5 quarters almost. And so you talk about teams that went all out week 1, especially those two, both were division games. That's also something you got to consider here. These teams that went all the way through overtime.
Yeah, and the Colts have a smelly line.
And Matt, if I can add one thing, sorry, Matt, with some stuff. Yeah, sorry.
Go for it, Neil.
Difficulty, but that Texan one is interesting, right? Next week. Yeah, that Texan one is interesting, right? They play a full overtime, and then they go to Denver, and
altitude.
I don't know what it is, but there's crazy stats around altitude in Denver in September, and I think even more so in week 1 or 2. So here you have a road team going to Denver after playing a full game plus overtime, and now having that altitude could be something to look at.
Well, and also keep in mind too that Denver, I mean, the narrative may be that they're not good. This coach sucks. They don't know what they're doing. How about losing 2 fucking fumbles going into the end zone by 2 different running backs? I think I saw it's the first time that's happened since 2000. And so all of a sudden, that's what, 14 points off the board. So let's not get too carried away with, Denver's in trouble. Chris, I mean, you don't like to lay a lot of points. You're not laying double digits usually, but could you see this being kind of a home run spot for Denver?
Yeah, you love to see, again, like you said, what did you just see? Denver looked like shit. Oh, the Texans are tough, man. They almost beat the Colts. You're going to maybe the average Joe might look at it and go, give me the 9 or 10 or whatever it ends up being, and say, give me all those points, when they might, and then Denver ends up winning, 24-10, and it's an easy cover. So, yeah, I'll definitely look at that and keep that, because I do like that. We've been talking about that for a few years, that Denver, even when they're not that good, it's kind of like, of course, the Rockies, look, they have the best, or worst home road split, because it's tough to go to Colorado and get a win there. So they're scrappy. Those Denver teams are scrappy.
For sure. I do want to talk about the Patriots-Steelers line, because that is one that has moved. I think the look ahead was Patriots 1.5. I think this opened. Did this open at pick? No, it opened at New England 1. And so it's New England 1.5. So, okay, you're telling me that Pittsburgh goes on the road and wins at Cincy as a 6.5 point dog. They go deep into overtime. There's a million missed kicks, a fucking blocked extra point, all kinds of crazy shit happened. And New England looked horrible down in Miami, and now the Patriots are a road favorite in Pittsburgh.
Oh boy. This gets me excited, my brother. So I'll see if you guys like this poop too. Neil mentioned it. Neil's sniff radar is always pretty sharp. He said, "How does that?" And I love it because, I mean, yeah, you look, and if the Dolphins don't get a 4th and 7, nice tricky play, awesome, and a fumble 6 from Mac, that's 14 points right there. You know they only won by 2 scores. So yeah, but I think the Patriots looked a lot worse than they did, and I think the Steelers might have looked a lot better. Like you said, all 5. How are you tied and you got 5? You're like plus 4 or 5 on the turnovers. You got a pick 6 and you end up tied. That's bullshit, man.
Did you want to add anything to that, Neil? Because you did come in this morning in our group text and say that is that's just not going to be a smellier line this week. Neil's having technical difficulties.
Yeah, no, I was my poop.
Oh, go ahead.
Senses are getting better. Thank you. So yeah, I was just saying my poop senses are getting better thanks to Dad Chris. But yeah, that one just, I don't know. It just seemed wrong. I don't know what I expected it to be. I guess Pittsburgh to be, about a field goal favorite. And just the fact that, not even picked to say that, the Pats are expected to go lay, that just seemed very off to me. But again, kind of liked it. Let's go back Belichick. I don't have a problem backing Belichick any point, especially if it's smelly. So definitely going to give that one a hard look.
Hell yeah.
Another one that's interesting to me this week is the Ravens and the Dolphins. I think this was a Thursday night game last year. And I want to say Baltimore was like a 6.5 point favorite, went down to Miami and just got utterly dismantled. Do you remember that, Chris?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So Baltimore has no issue with the Jets. Miami looks great. I think the look ahead here was 4. It looks like 3.5 right now. People need to know that the Ravens injury report is concerning, to say the least. And Miami came out of that New England game in pretty good shape. So I'm going to keep an eye on that one for sure. We'll see if they give us the hook in the contest or if that even comes down to 3. Would not be surprised, but we'll see what happens with that. Anything else we want to cover that we missed? I want to keep this one nice and short.
Matt, what do you feel, and Neil, what do you guys feel? To me, on another road division fave, to me, doesn't the Chargers line, I mean, I don't really care about what the look ahead was, but doesn't this smell like shit? I mean, you've got a team that absolutely dismantled they look like they could do, it was like they're playing a JV team, did whatever they wanted against the Cards. And the Chargers didn't look that good. I mean, they got 2 or 3 picks from Carr. I mean, they're a field goal away from, or an extra point away from being a close ass game. Like they really didn't look good in the red zone. So to me, everyone's like, no, the Chargers or whatever. And the Chiefs -3.5 seems like you got to have some stones to hit that Chargers side. What do you think, Matt?
What's the den? Is the den side there Chiefs?
I think so. I think he's.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
it's always a tough one because, like, I could see that being a 1-possession game. Last team that has the ball wins. But what if they get 7? What if they win at 35-28?
Mm-hmm.
I think you're going to have to really have a nut sack to bet the under in that one, I think. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. What's the downside? Over.
But yeah, over, I think. Yeah, you're going to have balls the size of that Seattle guy in Survivor to go under.
But these teams have played each other. This has been one of the greatest head-to-head the last few years. I mean, didn't Chargers go into there and beat them last year, and then Chiefs came here and returned the favor, but they shouldn't have. It went to that was a den. It was when the Chiefs, they went to OT, laying 3.5 or 4, and they covered because they scored 6 in overtime. That was one of those ones we got fucked on. So, yeah, they play close games. So I'd lean towards taking the points just because I know everyone's going to think Chiefs is free money.
Yeah, I can't argue with that. A couple other narratives I think people should keep an eye on is this Cowboys dead and buried narrative. That's everyone is selling Dallas. Dak's dead. O-line dead. Zeke dead. McCarthy, no clue. Everyone. I don't think you're going to find a Cowboys bet this week outside the state of Texas. I think one guy, he's here with me right now. So keep an eye on that. I want to see what that is. That's got to be over 10, right?
Man, and you're telling me
Are they saying 7?
They were saying it would have been 2 or 3 with Dak. Is Dak worth that much? Oh man, I don't know.
Jeez. What else narrative wise? I mean, the Vikings looked unstoppable on offense, so that's going to be really interesting to see how popular they are Monday night against the Eagles. I think the Bills line, I mean, people are just going to lay the number on the Bills no matter what this season. Let's see if they still go 12-5 against the spread. Titans, and then let's end it with this, Chris. Let's shout out our dad, Dayball. You and I both had the Giants, and we said, and they score, so we're feeling like we're pretty good. Now, we could get fucked if it goes to overtime and they lose by 6 because we had 5.5 in the contest. You want to shout out Dable for pulling his cock out and going for 2 and getting it?
Yeah, I guess I heard today that he went to a couple of people and said, hey, guys, if we go get this, you guys cool if we go for 2? And he goes, yeah, all of them said, fuck yeah, coach, let's do it. So that's cool. They went down, got the 6, and went for 2 and got it. And he goes, look, we're going to be aggressive. You like to see that, a new coach being aggressive. Yeah, you love it. Yeah, that one is fucking awesome because now they come home. We love those road dog to now home fave. Be careful with those folks.
You know, you have to have a short memory in this shit. Like, they were so good to us last week, and we're probably going to sell them this week. 100%.
Yes. What about
you win outright?
Why don't you talk about the Bucks and your Saints? Look at that. Are they going to be high and mighty on the Bucks after that primetime win?
Dude, the Saints are on like a crazy division straight up run against the Falcons and the Panthers and home even the Bucks. Mm-hmm. Yeah, home division dog. Give me the Saints. Put them in your teasers. Go up through the 3, up through the 7, and take them on the fucking money line. Fucking. All right, let's get out of here. Too bad Neil had technical problems. We'll get him on the week 2 preview. So we're really going to try to record this on Thursday for the listeners, get it available for people to listen to on Friday. So thanks for checking us out, making us part of your week 1 recap. And Chris, I guess with Seattle winning tonight, the last thing left to do is to remind everybody what happens sometimes when you bet on poop.
Sometimes you go 4-1, 80% in the contest, baby. Let's go. Stay strong.